It's time now for Carter's Corner. Everything Bay Area sports on the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network. Here is your host, Carter Kim.
This is how we start, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Carter's Corner. I am Carter here on Northern Lights Sports and Entertainment, bringing you all things Bay Area sports and national sports. But today, obviously, the Warriors won. They did great, by the way. Defensively, they were strong, and that was impressive to me. I'm definitely going to be going to check them out and on the highlights later. And there's been good things happening over. I did not expect a Tom Grossi video for baseball. That's surprising, but we're looking like this is going to be an interesting fall classic, because what I say would be a very important stat. These stats right here. These are the runners and scoring position stats for these two respective baseball clubs. And let me just read you off the runners in scoring position for both teams yesterday. Overall, these teams hit 2 for 16 overall with runners in scoring position. Effing Boone, man. I mean, and everyone else managing like Dave Roberts, and Dave Roberts managing like other managers. I don't know what's happened. For some reason, Dave Roberts hasn't had like that one really bad like managing game where he's like messed it all up, which is surprising because Dave Roberts usually overthinks these situations. Then again, maybe it's not him, but I know that Dodgers fans are going to be very happy. But here's the thing I want to mention to everybody here. Both teams hit 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Only one, but the difference is the Dodgers hit once with runners in scoring position when it mattered. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, honestly, for everybody here, Judge pops out, Rizzo misses, so does Verdugo twice. Volpe doesn't do well, neither does Chisholm. Wells doesn't do well either. The only guy that did anything for the Yanks yesterday, like meaningful, like truly meaningful, was Giancarlo Stanton. And he was the only one. That's not good. At the end of the day, like, it's going to be interesting because I already have the matchups for tonight. And I'm going to put them up on the screen for everybody to see. So tonight we have Carlos Rodon versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And on top of that, let's just let me just show this really quick because I really do want to emphasize this, because matchups are going to be the thing that win this series between pitchers. Today we will have Gleyber Torres, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Stanton, Chisholm, Rizzo, Volpe, Wells, and Verdugo playing for the Yankees in that order. In the other side, we will have Ohtani, Betts, Hernandez, Freeman, Edman, Enrique Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith, and Miguel Rojas, who is back after a stint on the IL because he had some issue. I can't remember what it was for, but he's back, and he's played a really good game. He's played very well for them this season. But here is what I would like you all to fix your eyes to for this World Series. Just look at, I'm wondering if this actually works. I'm trying to no, not this. Sorry. I'm trying to see if I can zoom in. I wonder. No, not that. I wonder if I can zoom in. No, I can't do that. There we go. No, Jesus. All right. I'm not even going to try. So right here, this is the matchups. Gleyber Torres and the Soto Judge have not seen that many at-bats versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So that's going to be interesting because neither team seems to have a lot of ownership. Yes, Yamamoto has gotten them out before, but this isn't enough to prove anything yet. At the end of the day, in my opinion, to determine how good a team is, or a player or a pitcher is against hitters, you have to be able to give me 15 at-bats where you're owning on them. And you don't have that yet. Yamamoto doesn't have that, and the Yankees don't have that. Then let's turn to the other side of this. Shohei Ohtani's 1 for 3 versus Rodon, not much. But Mookie Betts is 1 for 19 versus Carlos Rodon. Teoscar Hernandez is 1 for 19 versus Carlos Rodon. Freeman's 1 for 7. Again, that's not a lot. These two are the most. Tommy Evans 2 for 6. Enrique Hernandez is 3 for 6. 0 for 4 for Max Muncy. 1 for 8 for Will Smith, and 1 for Miguel Rojas. So what I'm trying to say is, other than a couple players on these rosters, neither team has seen a lot of the other team's starting pitcher. So we're going to be, except for Mookie and a couple other people. And I'm going to be very interested to see how that all goes, considering the lefty matchups and how things will go there. I'm worried Rodon's going to have like a blow up by accident. But I have a good feeling, because this is going to be an interesting game. The problem is, again, runners in scoring position were so horrible today. You had 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position for both teams. That is a cumulative value of 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. That's not good. And what did I say yesterday before the World Series game? If you have these situations where you can't hit with runners in scoring position, it's all going to be about the team that BS's their way first. So if you can't hit in the clutch, if you can't hit in the clutch, you're in trouble, like massive trouble. So both teams, I would say this, like, lock the hell in and actually hit with runners in scoring position, or you're going to be in massive trouble, because I'm looking at the current situation for this postseason. The Yankees absolutely wasted an incredible pitching performance by Garrett Cole, who put only one run was put up on Garrett Cole. That was impressive. He had 4 Ks and 4 hits allowed. He didn't walk anybody. He kept the game under his control. Clay Holmes, Tommy Kahnle, Luke Weaver held up. But I would wonder, why the heck didn't they go to Hill? I really do wonder why they would not go to Hill. It just doesn't make any damn sense, in my opinion. You go to Hill in that situation, you're in better control. That's a lefty as well, so that brings a different type of finesse on Shohei, and it also brings a different finesse on Freddie Freeman. So the worst part about that first pitch to Freeman, in my opinion, is very simple. You pitched Freddie Freeman inside, where Freddie Freeman is what is really good. I know Freddie Freeman can hit in all parts of the zone, but keep it real. When you pitch him inside, he has more ability to control his bat and pull it harder. Dodgers, I mean, listen, it's you guys won. That's totally fair. But I'm concerned for both teams in one statistic, and that's runners in scoring position. Neither team except for one moment for both teams, neither team hit with runners in scoring position. Judge kept popping out. Rizzo couldn't do a damn thing. Even guys like Betts, Hernandez, and Smith, and even Ohtani all got out when you had runners in scoring position. Ohtani fouled out with runners in scoring position to Nestor Cortez. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you guys ended up winning the game, but you have to be more careful. Because right now, runners in scoring position, I've said this so many times, it is the most important stat in all of baseball because it is a measure of how good you are at getting runners home, which is the most important thing in baseball. You have to be able to get runners home to win games, and they have not done that a lot this postseason. They have done that sometimes this postseason, but I'm worried that both teams are going to keep being complicit and that runners in scoring position is going to continue to be an issue. Just hoping the World Series ends in 4 or 5 games. I mean, if it ends in that many games, honestly, we're blessed because I don't want to have to watch this thing drag on for like 7 games. Because if that happens, we're going to be in a dead heat. It's so crazy, too, in my opinion, for the Yankees. You managed to one-up Blake Treinen. You got to Blake Treinen once this. There's only a couple teams that got. Nobody had gotten to Blake Treinen at all this postseason, if I'm not mistaken. He had never gotten to whatchamacallit. They had never gotten to Treinen at all this postseason. So, and only one team did it, and that was the Yankees. But I'm sorry, why the heck didn't you make adjustments? Yes, Cortez got Ohtani out, but that was on one crazy pitch that Ohtani kind of fouled away and Verdugo chased down. If I'm being totally honest, you should have brought in Hill. If you need to keep playing chess and not trust Nestor in that situation. Nestor hasn't played in so long. I like Nestor Cortez, and I think he's a great pitcher. But at the end of the day, like, runners got on base and Freddie Freeman just cracked it. And that was too easy for him, if I'm being honest. Like, that didn't even look effortless. That didn't even look like it had any effort. That looked easy, in my opinion. That was an easy play. Like, that's all Freddie Freeman, though. Like, seriously, like, you let this get away from you. I'm sorry. This is not a, like, you do need to win tonight if you are going to get back in your form. Like, you need to be able to control these situations. If you don't, you will be in continuous trouble. That's just the truth. You will be in trouble. And seriously, though, Garrett Cole pitched an incredibly good game, and you couldn't keep the bullpen together. Yeah, Clay Holmes was a little shaky, but at the end of the day, he got people out. So Tommy Canley, the changeup specialist. Luke Weaver did a great job. And I'm sorry, but Glenn has been talking about Hill the last few months. So I would say that a guy that's been that good for your bullpen should be up and ready to go. Considering how good he's been, I mean, seriously, I'm going to go take a look at Hill right now because we've talked about him a lot. In this postseason, he's gone for 5 innings. He has not allowed, he's allowed 1 earned run. He has allowed 1 earned run in the 5 innings he has pitched this postseason in the bullpen. That's not good, bro. You really let this game get away from you, if I'm being honest. I'm serious, though. Runners in scoring position. Like, if Judge had managed to get a couple hits, that's insane. But I really do want to talk about Judge in particular. Like, Aaron Judge is turning into a goddamn sieve in this postseason. He had 3 Ks, went 1 for 5, had nothing to contribute other than 1 single hit. This is the greatest talent of our generation, Aaron Judge. That's the Aaron Judge, right? As in the Aaron Judge who's supposed to be really damn good. Or have I been mistaken? Is there an imposter? Is there an imposter wearing an Aaron Judge suit up there? Because it seems to me Aaron Judge is pretty damn bad this postseason. This isn't me trying to be mean. I'm just talking about the facts of the matter. He's hitting 167 with a 304 OBP and a 361 slugging percentage. He's not doing what he usually does. He's not hitting for any damn power. If he was at like 250 and he was slugging like 500, I would give him some credit. But at the end of the day, his play has dropped off so hard this postseason. He's looking like Joel Embiid. Like, are you kidding? This is your superstar, Yankees? This is your superstar, Yankees, right? And also, I want to say for the record to our good friends Daniel, Soto did not no show. He was 1 through 3. He had 2 walks. He's getting on base. He's hitting and getting home. Is that really like, no, he did show up. You're just not giving him credit because you want to talk trash. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Like, he did show up. So did Stanton. Jazz Chisholm showed up for the first time in a little bit. And you wasted that performance, man. The middle of that lineup actually did pretty well. But at the end of the day, everybody just started letting the game go. It's not good. Like, if you continuously let this happen, you're going to lose. You will lose, and you will lose a big time. It's going to look really bad on your part. So, Yankees, like, you can overcome this, okay? You can. But if you lose this next game, you're looking in big trouble. And I really mean that. That Freddie Freeman home run off of Nestor Cortez reminded me of when Yordan hit Robbie Ray and nuked it against the Mariners. But yeah, oh my gosh, that's just, yeah, that just Come on, do better than that. Do 10 times better than that. Hell, do 20 times. Just don't suck, man. That's all I ask. Don't suck. I'm so inclined. Man, I mean, it's gotten pretty quiet in here, so I don't know. But honestly, like, that's just a... Yeah, but anyway, tonight it's going to be an interesting game between Rodon and Yamamoto. I'm wondering how Yamamoto will do against the Yankees lineup. I know that Yamamoto is better against lefties, but righties is going to be an interesting thing because Yamamoto's splits are actually the reverse, as one of our good people in this community very well pointed out. Against lefties, he has a 193 average, and against righties he has a 263 batting average. OBP is higher for righties, so his slugging percentage, a lot of people are actually hitting around league average versus righties. Righties are hitting around league average versus Yamamoto. I mean, looking at all these other things to consider, April was a tough... I mean, like, he's been out for a while. So July, August, he's been out for a minute. He was doing well before then, but it's got to be nerve-wracking in a lot of ways. I mean, Yamamoto's been up and down this postseason. So has Rodon. But at the end of the day, like, I looked at those matchups, and I'm telling you, looking at the matchups, the Yankees have a significant advantage because the Yankees haven't gone up against Yamamoto a lot. And maybe Yamamoto can show that he owns on him, but looking at Rodon's stats versus the Dodgers, he's actually had a pretty damn good career versus them. So that's definitely going to be an issue. I mean, like, we're looking at a pitching staff too, especially, but for the Yankees, I really say this to that bullpen, like, you better stop dancing through the raindrops, because that's what you're doing right now. If you keep dancing through the raindrops in this situation, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially if you're just trying to put up the wrong people up against Shohei Ohtani, up against Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. I get it. You wanted to put a lefty up against Freddie Freeman, but that's not an ordinary pitcher. Or sorry, not an ordinary hitter. This is Freddie Freeman, and he's really good at hitting fastballs. Let me just get to Freddie Freeman really quick. Freddie. Let's just look at Freddie Freeman's stats. Here are his stats versus the fastball. Historically, they're a lot better. But let me just show you guys this. These right here are Freddie Freeman's stats this year versus pitches. He's not good against the sinker or the cutter, but he's good against the four seam. And particularly, I want to show you guys this. This is his last year's stuff, because you can never count out Freddie Freeman. Yes, he's been having a pretty mediocre year by his standards. This is a really good stat line. I want to be clear, but in comparison to the last 2 years of his career, he should be much better, but let's just disregard that. Let's look at this in particular. He's hitting a plus run value of 20 and versus a four seam. And I also want to mention that four seam that Nestor Cortez threw to him was 93. That's below league average. You decide to throw a four seam that's below league average to one of the best hitters in baseball? Absolutely not. I'm sorry, but you go away with Freddie Freeman. And the thing is, you have to mention one thing. I heard commentators talk about this. Like, dude, you don't want to give them a chance to win the game. You know, like, so do what has the least risk-averse thing. You don't pitch Freddie Freeman inside with the swing that he has and the ability to shorten up and create power off his bat. You don't go to him. You go away. Yes, he can hit oppo, but at least this way, you have a chance to throw somebody out at the plate and keep the game under your control. You do the thing that causes him to pop out. You go high in the zone and you try and make him hit you, that way. And this is what I've learned about Freddie Freeman. All right. I'm just trying to find his hot zones too. Give me a second. Let me just find the zones that he's in. If you here's the thing right here. If you throw to Freddie Freeman like up or like high, I'm not sure entirely about this. Jesus, this is really bad. I don't know how to navigate this part of Baseball Savant yet. But one thing I know for sure is that if you pitch Freddie Freeman a different way, you have a better chance of beating him. Like higher in the zone, don't pitch him middle in or inside. Definitely don't pitch him in a place like, especially like a middle in. Especially don't pitch him middle in. Up and in, if you're good enough as a lefty, maybe. But Freddie Freeman isn't a guy who crowds the plate and he has to shorten up and he'll miss. He's not like a lot of other hitters like Anthony Rizzo, for example. You can't just throw up and in and get him to miss hard. He's a guy who stands a little further away from the plate and can shorten up his swing more quickly. So looking at this, like, sorry, like I'm just trying to find like that one image. Like I'm trying to find like his, I really want to know his like Freddie Freeman hot zone. Sorry. Yeah, heat map. Sorry, I'm trying to find his heat map. Sorry. All right. I'm just trying to find his heat map right now. It's really difficult because I really want to emphasize like how good he is at like crushing the ball in that area in particular. Spray charts, heat maps. Yeah, I'm really having a tough time like finding that map of like his zone in particular. Like that. I'm trying to find like what it looks like in particular. I wonder if I can find it on ESPN. Yeah, the funny thing is about Freddie Freeman is that he's really good against for his career, he's fantastic against like all of the guys that you see up here. Like he's really good against Yankees pitchers. Well, I'm just trying to find like where do I have freaking find that one thing? Like that one box that everybody has when hitters come up to the plate. I want to find this thing, but I can't seem to find it. Also, what the heck happened to his fielding? He was like one of the best first basemen in baseball last year. Now he looks a little average at first. I don't think that's actually true. Some stats are a little tough to calculate, especially outs above average. But where the heck is like, I think this is it, but I don't know for sure. Because this doesn't seem accurate. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. No, here now. Okay, listen, I have the stats right here. Let me just find it. This is Freddie Freeman's zone versus this is Freddie Freeman's zone, his batting average in these areas. This is the place where Nestor Cortez threw that pitch. Middle in, where he's hitting 478. That's all I have to say. Really? Like, Does the catcher, Austin Wells, not know scouting reports? Like, seriously, this is how good Freddie Freeman is in these areas. He doesn't hit well here, though, and he doesn't hit well here. He doesn't hit very well low in as well. So why not just go away? Just go away from Freddie Freeman. Like, seriously, this is Freddie Freeman's, like, this is his stats in these situations. Like, this is his batting average. Again, this doesn't account for home runs or slugging percentage or even on base. This is just how well he hits in certain situations. But look at that. Up and in, like, you can't throw him up and in. All right. Even with a guy like him, don't throw up and in unless you're a really good lefty like Blake Snell. Even then, it's tough. But, like, look at middle in particular. Middle in, like, dude, that is the exact place where Nestor Cortes and Austin Wells decided to throw that pitch. And what happened? It got crushed easily because look at that percentage. He's almost batting 500 there. Do you really want to test him there, of all places, when you had 3 other pockets where you probably could have gone? High and away, low, away, middle away, right here, or over here, low and in. Like, I know that you can't necessarily always think about this during the game, but dude, like, you have to understand where he is good at hitting. You definitely don't want to go to a place where you know he can hit well, especially here. That's what baffles me about the decision that Austin Wells and Nestor Cortes made. They pitched him inside in the exact place where he loves to hit it. Why not go up and away where he's notoriously not great for this year, or go low and away, or middle away where he can't hit it either? Just try and dot it. Like, seriously. Sorry, give me a second. I need to blow my nose. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. Like, seriously, like, look at that map and tell me that you thought you should have trusted a guy to throw inside like that. That's just horrible, bro. That's bad decision making, and you deserve to lose. Like, I don't even know if this is on Boone. Like, I know Boone messed this up, and yes, he probably should have gone with a different pitcher, but Nestor Cortes had been good for them. And honestly, this is on the players for making this decision. First pitch, you go to Freddie Freeman on the inside. I know you're trying to ambush him and speed him up, but that's not a good idea. Freddie Freeman is one of the best fastball hitters in baseball, as I clearly demonstrated with some other stats. Like, dude, just seriously, look at that heat map. Look at all this and say to yourself, oh, yeah, I trust this. I trust this. Like, I trust to go here, especially here. That's just bad decision making, and you deserve to lose. At the end of the day, that's bad decision making, and you deserve to lose. Like, you cannot reasonably say, let's go inside. Inside. Let's go inside and try and see if we can take a risk there. You're not going to win if you do that. And listen, I think they probably should have gone to Hill. Glenn has been gushing about this guy previously, and he talked about him before before the World Series, and the guy sounded good. And not only has he been good, he's only allowed 1 run this postseason in the 5 innings he's gone for. And that run could have been inconsequential. So at the end of the day, like, do better than that. Like, to Freddie Freeman, seriously, to Freddie freaking Freeman, who's one of the better hitters in baseball. Like, that's just joking. You're joking, right? Like, seriously. Just bad decision making, and you're going to lose because of it. Yeah, that's just bad. That's just so bad. Whew. But yeah, tonight, though, it's going to be an interesting game because I'm looking at the matchups and how everything's going to go. And honestly, like, what can you do? What the heck happened to Jack Flaherty? Apparently he's day to day right now. I don't know. So yeah, yeah, that's just a. Oh my gosh, that's honestly that's on the Yankees for making mistakes. Like you don't pitch Freddie Freeman inside. You don't. Ah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the San Jose Sharks are absolutely abhorrent. So yeah. Yeah, we're never gonna win, man. What the heck? Come on. Yeah, right now sports is a little saddening if I'm being totally honest. Like there's a lot of stuff in sports that I wish could be going better. The Warriors are doing well right now. We just absolutely shut down the other team. We shut down the Jazz and we did very well, but I'm honestly not satisfied until we're like in a great position. Like I just want to see this team get in a good spot soon. But yeah. But yeah, we'll see. This is gonna be. I want to see this postseason be like this final world game, this final series have some level of excitement. And honestly, I just either team winning is bad in my opinion. Both teams winning, it would be bad for a lot of people, but it'd be bad for every team in the AL East, if I'm being honest, and it would be bad for all the teams here in the West. But yeah, it's just we don't want to see this happen, and. Just help me, man. Like, help me out here. Just like, oh, man. But yeah, tonight, Rodon versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Let me just actually look these two up. Carlos Rodon this year has been underwhelming, to say the least. That's what I would characterize Carlos Rodon this year as underwhelming. He has not been great. He's been out of character and bad in a lot of ways. He hasn't been as stable as he might usually be. He's not played well. He's more or less been okay. Like, let me just check his game logs. Like, for a little while there, he was looking great. He looked back to form in April. In May, he looked okay, but then in June, he goes crashing into a wall. Same in July, he doesn't play great. Neither in August, but then in September, he rights the ship and plays better. But slider, curve, like I've seen so many pitchers like this nowadays who throw just a slider and a curveball, and honestly, it pisses me off because there's no damn like deception or anything like that. Yeah, you throw the fastball great. Yeah, you throw a slider great, but at the end of the day, your changeup's trash, and you don't throw a curveball great either. So do better? Maybe. I don't know. But he is a forever Giant, so maybe I'll give him credit. But as for Yamamoto has done okay, but he's been injured this year. Give me a second. I mean, like, look at his stuff. I mean, Yamamoto's stuff is really damn good. Splitter, four seam, great curveball, the cut's good. I mean, all of his stuff is pretty damn good. He needs to throw the fastball a little higher, but the split finger and the curve are actually pretty well located. But we'll see. I mean, like the pitching matchups for this series are going to be tough because both players have been a little shaky this postseason, and it's going to be interesting because again, we were surprised yesterday because we didn't think it was going to be much of a World Series where we thought pitchers would do well, but Garrett Cole and Flaherty held it down. And honestly, I hope this can be a little more interesting than just a slugfest, but it's already done better than I expected. So, I mean, not bad, but yeah, Yamamoto's been injured a lot, so I'm not sure how well he'll do. I mean, he's obviously not a bad player. I would never chastise him for that. But at the end of the day, I'm also worried that the dude like needs to figure it out a little more. Like, there's just some things that I feel like could go differently that he could be better at. Like, I mean, yeah, he had some good games though. He's had some good games this post. He had one good game versus the Padres this postseason, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, yeah, he put a shut piece on the Padres and then only allowed 2 earned runs versus the Mets, where he didn't win, but he managed to go for 4 innings. So, and he threw 73 pitches, which was not great, but he could do worse. I mean, both starters have been a little shaky, but we'll see which one perseveres the most. I think Rodon is looking at the matchups. Looking at the matchups, the Yankees have the advantage if you really want to do stats. Like, if you look at the comparisons of how they're playing against each other side by side, like Rodon has statistically dominated against Mookie Betts and a couple of the other Dodgers hitters he's had a good chance against. He's done well, but we'll see, because Rodon, again, is shaky as well. Him and Yamamoto are in the same sort of boat. They've been good in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways they've been very shaky. Like, especially for Rodon. I mean, like, I look at his average. He actually looks pretty good against both righties and lefties. He's just got to do a lot better. Like, to be fair though, he's going against 2 big lefties to start the game, and he's gotten to Mookie Betts before. So you never know. You never know. He's just got to be consistent. Oh God, he's got to keep his head. We'll see. We'll see how he holds up. I think he will hold up. It's just about like keeping himself in the game. I mean, he can't be throwing a lot of pitches either. That's the biggest thing in my opinion. There's a lot going on today here in college because there's like I think there's like a rugby thing. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. What the hell? Man, it's like it's getting really loud out there too. I think y'all might be actually able to hear it. Let's check the recording later and see if y'all can hear it, but I don't know. I mean, shit. Like, yeah, I mean, like, looking at the matchups and looking at the 2 respective pitchers, I mean, this certainly can be an interesting game. It's just really about like trying to see if these 2 can hold up, because I'm not sure. Like, they can be good. I want to say that for the record. Both players can be really good in these situations, but both of them have also been shaky. So I would very much recommend to everybody just be careful about how you judge them as the game goes on, because this things can go wrong in a lot of ways very quickly. Man, I'm beat up right now. I was sick for a couple of days. Now I'm doing a little better, which is good. But yeah, looking at, I mean, I'd say Yamamoto has the he really doesn't, because he's going up against a lot of right-handed hitters. He's going up against a lot of right-handed hitters in the top 4 of that lineup. The only lefty is Juan Soto, and even then Soto could probably get to him. But looking at the statistics and looking at all things considered, I think Rodon could do well, and the Yankees have an advantage when it comes to pitching matchups against batters. But you can't really say anything about that. I mean, I think my predictions yesterday were pretty good for the most part, especially about how the pitchers would handle themselves. But it's interesting, especially for Flaherty, because he actually did pretty well up until that home run versus Stanton. So I'd say we're looking at a very interesting like matchup today. I mean, again, it really isn't about how far one guy takes him. It's really about like if they can tackle on some runs early. Either team has to get some runs on the board early. Hold on, I'm gonna blow And just like that, everybody's gone. All right. I mean, I don't even know if those are real. Like, I'm wondering if this thing is bugging out and there's nobody actually here. Maybe it's on Twitter. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I mean, pitch mix. Yeah, he's throwing that. He's going to be throwing that four-seamer a lot. He'll throw the slider. Again, I hate guys who just have two pitches. Dylan Cease pisses me off. Spencer Strider pisses me off. There's a lot of pitchers in baseball who only have like two pitches that are actually really good instead of having a good repertoire. I mean, like, Blake Snell has a fastball and a curveball that are really good, but he can also throw in a changeup and a slider. You look at, like, I don't know. You look at Strider and freaking Dylan Cease, and you're like, dude, you guys can't throw a changeup for anything. You can't throw any other pitch other than a fastball and a slider. That's insane to me. Like, how you can't adapt to a situation like that. I mean, like, it's just not feasible how a big league player can't, like, seriously add, like, one pitch to his arsenal or figure it out somehow. Yeah, I get it. It's difficult. But at the end of the day, you should be able to find a way to adapt and win. And that's why a guy like Rodon pisses me off in a lot of ways, because it's like, dude, one wrong move and you can have one really bad game because you can't you can't deviate from your other pitches. I mean, it's just not good, man. You got to do better. Like, and with Yamamoto, that's why I think Yamamoto has got a slight advantage in a lot of ways. I mean, like, especially with his stuff. I mean, again, the reverse splits are a little concerning for Yamamoto, but honestly, I don't think he's going to do too badly. I think Rodon will do well in terms of matchups, but again, I'm worried that he's going to, like, just start getting into a position where he can only throw his two pitches and then somebody sits on a slider or a fastball and then he's gone. Like, that's my biggest worry for those guys. Like, if you don't figure it out soon enough, you're going to be in trouble. Like, the Yanks definitely have to win tonight. If they can win tonight and take it back to New York, they can be in good shape. But I'm definitely thinking, like, Rodon's got to pitch great, and they got to stop slacking with runners in scoring position because what's his name? Aaron Judge is turning into a goddamn pumpkin. He's turning into a sieve right before our very eyes. What are you thinking, Carter? You've seen Rodon. I mean, I look at the matchup that he has. He's 1 for 19 versus Mookie Betts. That's huge. That's a big thing. That takes a wrinkle out of that lineup. He hasn't gone up against Shohei a lot, but he's gone up against Teoscar and Freeman a decent amount. I think that he can do well. He'll do well, I think. It's just like I'm worried about both these pitchers for a very one simple reason. They're both they've had some good games this postseason, but they've both been very volatile. They've had like one or two innings where you think like, oh yeah, this could be like the straw that breaks the camel's back. But looking at Rodon personally, I mean, he's a great player. I think he's good. The problem is for me is that he's a two-pitch guy. He doesn't throw a changeup a lot, and he doesn't get a lot of – he does get some good break on his slider and fastball. The problem is it's when the team starts zeroing in on one of those pitches, especially when you have two players at the top of that lineup, Mookie and Shohei, that are known for hitting sliders and fastballs super hard, especially Shohei. But then again, it's lefty-lefty, but I would not be inclined to just like rule it out purely because of lefty-lefty. Listen, lefty-lefty is a good concept sometimes, but it's not really always accurate, especially like last night when Freddie Freeman absolutely torched Nestor Cortez. I mean, you got to be very careful. But I do think Rodon will do well considering his matchups versus the Dodgers have been pretty good for his career. I think, though, that you have to be super careful because if you do not if Rodon like starts getting issues with his pitches and doesn't locate well, or he's just like out of control, then the Dodgers will start sitting on his pitches and they'll figure out a way to hit him. And at that point, it'll be over. So that's what I think. I've seen Rodon I've seen Rodon. He's a good pitcher. He's just like, he's got issues that are like massive in a lot of ways. He just has to be more, he has to be under control this game basically, and he has to not let the Dodgers zero in. He's got to find a way to deceive them a little bit more with the ability that he has, and he's got to throw that changeup a little bit more, especially to lefty, especially to righties in particular. But I do think it will be a game that's a little worrying for both fan bases because you're worried about both players. I mean, like, let me just find the did he ever play against he hasn't gone against the Dodgers this year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, no, he hasn't gone against the Dodgers this year. Yamamoto, I know, has gone up against the Yankees this year, and he had a pretty damn good game. He had 7 Ks, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, only 2 walks. I mean, he was good against them. I'm just worried. What's the reaction when Freddie walked taught the plate last game? I mean, I'm not exactly what that is, but what is the reaction when Freddie walked? I mean, okay. I think that was just like, I really want to emphasize this in particular. I'm going to find it right now because I really want to emphasize this. Like, let me just find this because I really want to emphasize this in particular to everybody here. Like, ball. These are the bare bone walked at the plate. Walked at the plate. I mean, here's the issue. I do like lefty-lefty because I looked up Freddie's splits versus lefties. They're not good. They're not good splits. But here's what I want to emphasize in particular. Here's the problem with what they did. This is Freddie Freeman's stats in the exact area where Nestor Cortez threw that pitch. 47, 478. That is his batting average in that area. I mean, that's a crazy stat. He's hitting 478 against pitches that are thrown there. It doesn't matter if it's lefty righty. Someone threw it in there, and that's a stupid thing to do. When you could have, like, look at the other side of that zone in particular. Like, seriously, look at the other side of that zone and tell me you should have thrown there. I mean, look at that. It's blue over there, and the other side, on the other hand, in middle in and center cut, he's good. I mean, just like, it's just, yeah, it's just so dumb in my opinion. You did not at all have to throw here. This is for his season in particular. Freddie is usually really good in all parts of hitting, but it's like, in particular here, you did not have to throw it here. You throw here and you throw here. You throw away and you try and get him to swing. Yes, Freddie Freeman's a dangerous pitcher, but at the end of dangerous hitter, but at the end of the day, there are worse things to do than miss. I mean, do not give him a chance to hit a home run or clear the bases, because if you do that, you'll lose the game. And they gave him a chance to win. You can't let that happen. And why would that pitcher who's not pitched in a month in that spot? I mean, that is something that I've been questioning. Like, he did do well. He got Shohei out quickly, and that was impressive. But at the end of the day, you don't want to put a guy with low velocity up against Freddie Freeman. Let me just get Hill really quick. Let me get his stats. Yeah, no. Tim Hill. Yeah, Tim Hill. Let's look at Tim Hill's stats. He doesn't have a lot of great stuff, Tim Hill, but I want to emphasize this in particular. Freddie Freeman. Let's talk about Freddie Freeman this season in particular, okay? So I don't like Shohei hitting on first pitches. Now, him versus first pitches, I really think, yeah, you can ambush, but I like it when Shohei gets like 1-0 or 0-1. Like, if he can just get a ball, he's already in good shape. So if he can do that, pitchers get a little nervous. So just don't – that would be my recommendation to Shohei. Just take first pitch and see if you can find something. But let me just emphasize this in particular. Tim Hill is a very big specialist for the Yankees. Let's just look at particularly what is his bread and butter, ladies and gentlemen. A sinker. He throws the sinker 69% of the time at 88 miles per hour. Not that fast, but he doesn't get the barrel hit, and he grounds out a lot of people. He doesn't walk that many people. He doesn't strike people out or get whiffs, but he gets people out. And let's look at his sinker. That sinker is very well placed. Look at that. Low and away, or like middle away. Like that's away from Freddie Freeman. That's in the exact zone where Freddie Freeman is not great. And then let me emphasize this other bit of information to you guys. Look at, no, this isn't it. Sorry. Let me just find this right here. Nope, not a video file. I don't want that. Let me just find this thing for you. This is Freddie Freeman versus sinkers, which is Tim Hill's main pitch this season. He's a -4. He's not good against sinkers this year. He was good against sinkers last year, so obviously that's something to consider because Freddie Freeman, when he's really good, he can really destroy the ball. However, no matter what you throw to him. But Freddie Freeman was put up against a guy with lower velocity who isn't a great hit, who isn't, again, Nestor Cortes isn't a bad pitcher. I would never say that. But look at what you threw to him. Look at what you threw to him, and look at what you could have thrown to him. You threw a 4-seam fastball in where Freddie Freeman loves to crush. That's a bad pitch. But you could have, on the other hand, thrown away, like middle away, high away, with a sinker, with a guy who's a specialist in it, who's good at getting people to ground out. You got to know the dynamics of what's going on, man. You got to know the dynamics of what the heck is going on. And I know I'm emphasizing analytics in here in particular, but if you had put Tim Hill up against Freddie Freeman, you probably would have been able to get him out. Considering he is also a lefty, you probably would have been able to get him out and you would have won the game. You would have been in more control. But you gave Nestor Cortes the chance to beat Freddie Freeman. And I don't understand. Why not just go away from him? I get it. Freddie Freeman is an incredible hitter, but you don't try and ambush him first pitch with a first pitch strike. That's not something you can do. Like, especially against a guy of the caliber of Freddie Freeman. Like, you just can't do that. I actually do want to find that stat, though, Benji. Shohei Ohtani. What is his OPS when he swings at first pitches? Okay, batted ball profile. I mean, I'm just trying to find like the statistical information, and you can find anything on Savant, but it's like exit velocity. I mean, exit velocity, launch angle. I don't think I'd have to go dig. I'd have to go digging into the stats, Benji. But I'm pretty sure Shohei has probably been one of the worst. Not one of the worst, but he's definitely not a good first pitch hitter. He's not like Jose Altuve or one of those other hitters that you can that ambushes pitchers on that first bat off that first pitch. He's just Shohei is the best in my opinion when he's got 2 balls and a strike. That's when he's the best. That's when I think Shohei is the best, when he's got 2 balls and a strike, when he gets the opportunity to either go into a hitter's count or the opportunity to swing at somebody trying to get a strike. That's when I think Shohei is really good. He's out of control when he's in those moments. He's because he gets the opportunity to walk and get on base, or he has the opportunity to just crush it, whether it's into the field for a double or just smack it out of the park in its entirety. But I would agree. Shohei swinging on first pitch is not great. I mean, perfect pronunciation. It's good to see you, D-Shot. Welcome to the show. I mean, I'm looking at the information that I've been seeing on my screen right now, and I seriously mean this when I say that. If you put Tim Hill versus Freddie Freeman, you would probably be in a position to win. Freddie Freeman against the sinker this year has been horrific. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's scary. That's really scary in my opinion, that someone in the staff was like, yeah, let's throw a 4-seam at 93 miles per hour to Freddie Freeman, who's one of the best fastball hitters in baseball and can crush it if you pitch him on that area. That's horrible. Like, you cannot let the game get away from you like that. And now the Dodgers are going to be in better shape. I mean, it's not good, dude. You're letting this situation get away from you. And if the Dodgers win this next game, they're in really good shape. They are going to be in perfect position to get back and get to New York and like scare people. But yeah, I'm looking all over like the stats and the information. I'm like that one funny joke that they have. Hold on. Hold on, let me just find this. Where's this like one image of the guy like with like all the Oh yeah, here we go. I'm like, okay, so this is, let me just open this image in a new tab for a second. I need to like emphasize this. Open image in new tab. Let me see if this is like good enough. Hold on. I'm like ever since last night, ever since I saw that happen, I was like, I'm like this guy right here. I'm like this dude, just like freaking out. Like, okay, listen, we got to connect this thing and this thing and this thing. Like, come on. Like, it's so crazy how they're like, how managers make so many mistakes. You got to be better than that, Boone. I'm sorry. Listen, I like Aaron Boone. I think he's a much better manager than people give him credit for. I think he's a good manager. But, dude, you let this get away from you. You should have trusted Hill. Like, Tim Hill has been really good this season as a lefty, and Freddie Freeman has been horrible against sinkers. Like, you gotta give your guy like that. Literally, that's a Freddie Freeman specialist. That is the perfect Freddie Freeman specialist. A guy who throws sinkers, who Freddie's not great against, and a guy who's a lefty, who Freddie is worse against. He's hitting 250 against lefties, while he's hitting like 300 versus righties. Like, I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. Just give me a second. Standard splits. Sorry, now let me just get Freddie Freeman's splits. Standard no, not Statcast. I'm like trying to find like his standard, like, let me just find it. Freddie Freeman. Okay, these are Freddie Freeman splits against lefties are 250, 332 OBP, and a 427 slugging percentage. That's good enough for a 759 OPS. That's not great by his standards. Against righties, he's 300, 402 OBP, a slugging percentage of 503. That's 905 OPS. I'm just saying, man. Like, yeah. Card, how is Ohtani versus Freeman? Boone and their analytics peeps were thinking more about Ohtani deciding to put Cortez out. Just saying. No, that's totally fair. I totally agree with that. I mean, yeah, no, that is totally fair. Like, Ohtani is 2 for 12 in his career versus now 2 for 13 versus Cortez. That's totally fair. I'm just like one of the things that I was considering in particular was like, especially talking about Freeman in particular. Cortez doesn't have a sinker. He doesn't throw with a lot of velocity, but Freddie Freeman is really bad against sinkers, and the lower velocity might mess him up a little bit. But one of the things I wanted to emphasize, actually, that I showed Benji here, let me just show this to you as well. This is, let me just find it. This is for you, Freddie Freeman's his zones right here. This is Freddie Freeman's zones. One of the things I wanted to emphasize in particular is how Nestor Cortez threw this pitch in this zone right here. Freddie Freeman is really good in that area, especially against fastballs. And one of the things that I wanted to mention too is that Tim Hill is really good with a sinker, and Freddie Freeman this year has been not historically bad, but certainly not as good as he usually is against sinkers. And I was very perplexed when Boone left Hill in the pen, especially when Freddie Freeman was coming up. And the thing is, I get putting Cortez out there. And you're right. That is the thing, Ed. You are completely right about this, that it was about Ohtani in particular and how they were going to pitch to Shohei, because they wanted to get Shohei out with the with Cortez, because Cortez is really good against Shohei. But even then, that pitch that Cortez threw the Shohei should have been a nuke, in my opinion. That was middle in, like center cut. That probably should have been gone, if I'm being honest. But you live and you learn. Some stuff that just didn't go their way in a lot of ways. But honestly, like a lot of stuff didn't go the Yankees' way, to be fair. But at the end of the day, you got to brush yourself off, got to get ready for tonight, and things have changed. So we'll have to see. But, hey, hope you guys are going to have a good time watching the World Series tonight. Hope you guys can enjoy this a little bit, even though it's not the best situation for fans of the Giants or people who hate the Yankees. But it was good talking to you guys about analytics, about baseball in general. It's good talking to you guys about all this stuff. Thank you guys for just showing up. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Daniel, Morkatna, and all these other guys that showed up. And D-Shot as well. Thank you guys. But I'm going to go now. Hope you guys can enjoy this World Series tonight to the best of your ability. And always, see ya.
You've been watching the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network, a Northern Lights Entertainment broadcasting station.